So my wife and I on Saturday night wanted to do a date night. She's been really wanting to watch this Insidious the Red Door film. It's the 5th entry in the franchise, and this is a pretty dang good quality horror franchise from like the late 2000s and early 2000 teens. Really like the first 3 films. The Last Key, which came out in 2018, was kind of hit or miss on some of the scares there, but we do see some return of characters. Patrick Wilson and Rose Byrne do reprise their roles from the 2000, and I believe it's 2012, 2000, I don't know. Insidious 2 was the last time they appeared, but this is, like I said, the 5th film. This is directed by Patrick Wilson, actually. I'm not sure if this is one of his first films, but it is directed by him, and it stars Ty Simpkins, and like Rose Byrne appears, and Lynn Shay also appears, and you see some good callbacks to some OG moments from the franchise. And overall, this movie just basically takes place. You see Dalton, who is Patrick Wilson's son in this movie. It's a kind of a road trip college movie. It takes place primarily at his college, and he kind of some events that happened from previous films. He's having some fuzzy memories, and some stuff's coming back to him. He's got some hauntings going on. He goes to a frat party, and he sees a premonition of a dead body in what they call the Further. And it's pretty exciting. There's some really good scares here that really are effective. However, the one thing I hate about recent horror movies is the constant jump scares. You know they're coming, but you can't help but jump out of your seat because the music hits so hard and so loud. So my wife's making fun of me because I jump, but I'm like, it's because the music hit. It's not because it's scary. But anyway, whatever. She can tease me all she wants. I don't care. But what I really liked about this film here, I don't think it's one of the best films in the franchise, but what I really liked, there was some really good tension moments, and I liked how the kind of story did progress. And I think Ty Simpkins' story as this art student who is going in deeper into his memories that he can't remember, and he comes out with these dark imageries and this kind of gothic-like imagery that's portrayed on the canvas there. And I like how he kind of goes into the further with those kind of paintings. And there's also a really good performance from Sinclair Daniel. I've never seen her before in any movie, but she was fantastic. Could be one of my, if she didn't have so much screen time, it could be like a minor character of a nominated role for me, because she brought the right amount of comedy and a good chemistry with Ty Simpkins that just broke up some of the tone of this film. But the things that didn't really work for me is I don't think, even though it feels very Insidious-like, it just was so disconnected because you're focusing on 2 different stories. Because even though it takes place at college, you have Patrick Wilson's character away from the school, and they're telling these 2 different stories. You're supposed to care about both of them, and they're kind of the things they're dealing with their memories and these hauntings. And it just doesn't feel like one cohesive story. You get like 20 minutes with this character, and then it jumps back over to what the dad's doing, and then jumps back over to what the kid's doing at college. And even my wife said, yeah, it feels like 2 different stories, and it just doesn't flow as evenly as it probably should be here. And yeah, I just like I said, the jump scares again here didn't really. I just hate the constant jump scares. I compared it to Evil Dead Rise, where Evil Dead Rise had a lot of good like tension building scares. They didn't have to rely on those jump scare moments. And I thought that film was really effective in what they were trying to do. And Insidious, unfortunately, kind of go into the trap of recent horror films with those constant jump scares. I think it's a solid entry. It's definitely better than The Last Key. However, you have to remember a lot of the stuff that does happen in previous films, and being like almost 6 years from the last century, and then even Patrick Wilson did it like almost 10 years now since the last time he's been in a movie. You have to kind of remember a lot of stuff, so it would be key to go back and watch those movies before you go hit theaters to watch this one. I'm giving this a kind of a high 2 stars, but that's pretty much as high as I can go with it. But it was cool to see some of the Easter eggs and callbacks to previous movies. So anyway, that's what I got.
Yeah, I think it's cool they gave, like, Patrick Wilson had never directed before. I think it's cool that they gave him the movie, because it's similar to Michael B. Jordan with the Creed 3. It's you are clearly like the creative force, or one of the creative forces, along with James Wan. He's just like, how about you just direct it? It's probably, I'm sure that's how this went, because they had the Conjuring movies, they had the Insidious movies, and it's like, okay, you're obviously going to know what you're doing. I have not seen this one yet. I think I saw the first Insidious, but that's as far as I got.
Yeah, I really like this movie did remind me that I really loved Insidious Chapter 2 quite a bit. That was like my favorite one in the franchise so far. And the cool thing about that film, Adam Wynn, I can't remember. He created Saw in this movie as well, but he actually directed that second one, and he's actually a character in this franchise as well. So it's cool to see him back in there. And I agree that Patrick Wilson is directing. He did a really good job kind of telling this very similar style story. And one knock on the 2 franchises, The Conjuring and Insidious, I realized that I was thinking of Conjuring, but I was really trying to focus on what was Insidious about, because same actors but two different leading ladies in those franchises, and they came out around the same time, so it's kind of hard to keep those two franchises separate sometimes. So,
yeah, I haven't seen any of either of those franchises, so I would just constantly be confused. So
if you want quality entries in a franchise, stick with Insidious, because you only have 5 movies instead of 25 spin-offs. So there's a trade-off there.
There you go. That's good to know.
You've heard it here first.
Are you thinking of Lee Wannell?
That's it. I said Adam, didn't I? Adam was the character he played in Saw. That's my bad.
You said Adam Wynn.
That is a great poll.
Yeah, that's.
Lee Wannell is the director of Upgrade too. No, I like that movie a lot.
This is why I'm not on the show that much. I'll exit stage left here.